I'm a realist. I'm a realist, and I totally believe in, and also, optimistic. I wish we could capitalize on Quora and develop it into this, understanding institution of the African art scene.
Will be coming up
4100. Thank you for calling the OneMicShow. Hello.
And what's your social security number?
This is 1-800 Elolota. So
yes.
Aya Elolota.
Aya. Tupange kabisa sasa kazi.
Category E.
Thank you very much for guys picking up my call. Man, I have very mixed feeling about this so-called, inclusion. This is a classic affirmative action, move on African music.
Okay.
We all know, those of you who have been following up, the history of the Grammys, and then forgive me for giving you guys a little history. The Grammys, as we all know, they are going down, or they're already down. Like literally, the music industry today, there's a level of literally I don't care about what the Grammy said, And you guys in the same conversation, on the same line, you guys mentioned about independent record labels and record companies who, thanks to the Godfather, the artist formerly known as Prince, he brought in the revolution of music, independent music. Now, that said, let me, just focus on the African aspect. You cannot take African music and put it into small boxes, like the way the Grammy is doing today. Even if we say, wow, we are being put in the public domain, Kenyan music. I mean, if you put genge music, how many people in Kenya play genge music? There's a variety of gengeism, yes, but you cannot, Parapara is not a genge musician. Sauti Sol is not genge music.
No.
If you keep going and going, what is genge music in that category? Who is going to be those nominees from the genge aspect? This is just another way of, look, these two little Pizza Hut, companies on the side. Me, I'm going to buy all these guys and put them in one box and then package them in the name of, I'm including them in the whole deal. Let's not be fooled by this. I support the idea of, talking about it, but honestly, this is one way, or we're going to now start bringing in, or, confirming the division of the African art industry. We cannot start bringing in and say, we've introduced Mapiano. Okay, Mapiano. Then what? Is that the South African aspect, or we're going to bring in the Coupé de Calais, or are we going to bring in the Kizomba? I mean,
let me ask you a quick question, Elolota. Elolota, let me ask you a quick question. If it was your choice, let's stick to Kenya here. If it was your choice, because you asked, like, for example, like, how many genge artists do you have in Kenya? How many people sing genge in Kenya? If it was your choice, yes. What category of Kenyan music would you have chosen to be included? Because Kenya has so many genres, and there's no possible way in which they could have included all those genres, and of course Africa at large. So which genre would you have said maybe this is what will mostly identify with Kenya? Elolota.
And that's the catch-22 question. And that's like if you try to bring in genge music now in Kenya, if you roll the camera back into the Kenyan music scene, the Camaros are going to ask, okay, I guess we are not, that's a no-go for us, okay, we'll chill out. Sauti Sol is supposed to say, wow, I guess we shouldn't be even part of this because we don't play genge. You see what I'm saying? So if we were to do this, Grammys are just scrambling around to find something to put their grip on, to die. But these are just kicks of a dying horse, from my own critique. It is kicks of a dying horse. Why am I saying that? When we used to have the so-called reggae category, it never mattered whether the musician is from Jamaica, whether he's from Africa, whether he's from South America. It was reggae, and everybody has to be put there. Like, okay, you are Burning Spear, your culture, Joseph Hill, you are Bob. Like, bring your shit. Excuse my French. Put it there. Let's hear what you have. If it is hip hop, there never used to be East Coast versus West Coast, but no, it was like, do you got it or you don't? You got it or you don't got it. So it is simple. If you bring in African music and you start bringing in, we are introducing genge, we are introducing bongo, we are introducing kupetikali, kizomba, how and what in the world are you gonna do that unless you bring in the Cora Awards? And you say, okay, now we got all these African, movements going on. Who is the best kizomba? Who is the best mapiano? Who is the best bongo? If you feel you're East African and you want to do, kizomba, you go to the kizomba aspect and just bring a kizomba hit, and we see what you got, and you'll be put in the kizomba category. You cannot come here today and bring, let's say, Master P and say, okay, Master P is competing in Genge. Really?
Now, Lelotsa, remember, even those African awards, like, for example, the Cora Awards, there was also criticism for them because they had categories such as Francophone, Lusophone, I don't know what phone, yet they had no category, like categories based on foreign languages. But there was no category for Swahili that was spoken more than some of those languages.
I didn't support that. I didn't support the Francophone, the Anglophone thing. It is all about the music aspect. It's not the language. Because if you go into language, the music scene, the art scene will just, it's going to be a can of worms. You cannot go into language, because if you go into language, you guys were mentioning, the South American beat, the Caribbean beat, just so Middle Eastern.
Okay.
We will go deep into this stuff. That was just a flaw in the whole organization. But if you come to music, it's a style. It's the same way you go into the music history, you get classical music. You have to have the allegro and the allegro so, and is it slow? Is it fast? Is it in 3 parts? Is it an opera? Is it an aria? You have to put them in that aspect so that you manage to package them in the industry perspective.
All right.
Because it's an industry now.
All right. Asante sana Lolotsa. Just to wrap up, tell us, what your solution would be. Like, if you're the one who was in control, you want to grow African music, forget about the Grammys, what exactly would you do, briefly in terms of coming up with a way of recognizing, African music that's good? Elolotsa.
I'm a realist, and I totally believe in, and also, optimistic. I wish we could capitalize on Cora and develop it into this, understanding institution of the African art scene, because it's the only way. It's the only way we could have come up and say, you know what, Africa is diverse. We cannot say, African jazz, African cultural. You see, if you go, like my friend Fundi, he just mentioned to us here, like if you go to Tanzania, you cannot just categorize Tanzanian music into bongo. There is the guys who are from the other side of the country who have a very, very different beat from Wakina Diamonds and all these other, harmonizers. And if you come to Kenya, you cannot compare coast music to bara music. Those are two different worlds, and they speak a different musical language. But you can put categories that understands that and put it here. If you come to, for example, like the Kenyan Music Festival, The Kenyan Music Festival is a little bit a microcosm of what I would come up with. Different categories of music. Is it a folk song? Is it a classical? Is it an adaptation? Is it a composition? Is it just a creativity? Is it a modern, mix of whatever, different classes, so that you don't marginalize people. They all have a little piece of the pie. They can actually say, you know what, I'm going to get into the music festival and I'm going to compete on the set piece part, which brings in the Western music. I'm going to get into the music festival and go under composition. I'm going to compose my song and put it on the main, platform and see who got it for me. So it's that level. If you bring it in the Grammys here in America, this Grammys don't understand, the crap about African music. And now they're trying to make we feel like we are the other. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't. I mean, what does the Grammy validate my art? No. Does the Grammy have to validate my existence? No. Have I been in existence before? Yes. Am I still here? I am still here. Afrobeat today. We just finished the World Cup. World Cup, my friends. What music was playing on the loudspeaker? African music. Where in the world have you ever had that happen before? In the centuries of world music, they actually downplayed us when the African the World Cup was being held in South Africa. They brought us this woman singing Zaminamina,
Shakira, and she claimed it's its own. Yeah.